I'm Batman.
Of course, the videotape was a clever forgery the whole time.
Yes! Yes!
It's the Summer Movie Spectacular, where we review previews, tell you what to see, what to miss, and tell you what will be the biggest hits. I'm Lunchbox, that's Jester. Bring out the tributes!
Alright, moving on to May, we've got May 1st, the independent film, written and directed by Josh Whedon. Avengers, Age of Ultron. Okay, yeah, I'm shamming here. You know, before we even get into Age of Ultron, I want to say that it's weird to think of May 1st as the old summer start, because summer used to be officially kicked off with Memorial Day weekend. That was like the big summer movie, but it got pushed back and pushed back. I remember, I believe it was the Spider-Man movie, one of the Spider-Man movies, might have been Spider-Man 2, that came out towards like the very beginning of May, and I was like, whoa, that's risky. That's like before people
kids
are
are still in school.
Kids are still in school. How's that going to work? But it worked out fine. And now everything I've found online, and generally the way it seemed for the past, I would almost say 2 years now. Yeah. Well, maybe more than that, because I remember they were trying it out almost a decade ago to kind of put summerish movies in April.
Yeah, a little bit before. Yeah, and I think Twister came out before Memorial Day, and
Twister came out before Memorial Day.
That was the first one I remember coming out before Memorial Day, because Memorial Day was always the official start of the summer movie season. And I think Twister was the first one that I remember that came out before Memorial Day and was billed as a big summer movie, or well, at least billed as, a big blockbuster. You've got to see this,
which did,
yeah, and which everybody did. But before then, I think that June, July was all of the movies.
June, July was your heart of summer movies, and you kind of kick things off with like Memorial Day weekend. But I almost want to say with the whole April trend, moving it back to April started with Scorpion King almost, because that's the first movie I remember that looked like it should have been kind of a big budget summer movie.
Right, it should have been middle of July.
It should have been a middle of July movie, but it was like mid-April.
Yeah.
I'd have to look just to verify, but I could swear it was like April 15th or something like
mid-April,
that. It was mid-April, and I was just like, that's really weird, and why would they do that? And it
why
did
are
not
they releasing it so early?
And it didn't perform well, but it was the first...
Well, that's probably because it was awful.
But I haven't seen it. I own it, and I haven't seen it, but it just... How do I say it? It marked that start where you're pushing for things to... big movies to be before summer.
And I see that, and that's probably the biggest leap. And I agree that I really thought that, wow, why are they not releasing it in the heart of summer? I mean, it's a mummy movie, and those have always been doing great. It wasn't something that was something kind of new. I think that really the one like Twister was the really one that shocked me, was because it was before Memorial Day. But Memorial Day. You can't release this before Memorial Day. Like, it's not summer yet.
But it worked, and it worked well, and that would make the first one on the block here with Avengers on the first. It's sort of like getting into the, I guess it's the old, not still start of summer, but...
But yeah, we're kind of getting into it now, because already... Furious 7 started the summer, apparently.
Yeah,
so it got a big kickoff. So I guess, May 1st is the new 4th of July.
Yeah, kind of.
Like, 4th of July was the big weekend. That's when everything came out.
That's when, like, Independence Day and all those other...
Yeah, your big, gigantic movie. Yeah, Independence Day. I remember how huge
almost say July is like the new August.
Yeah, it's really, like, starting to dwindle down about July at this point. But,
let's go on
slowly. Maybe it has to do with global warming or something.
Yeah, sure. Okay, moving on to the point at hand. Avengers Age of Ultron. If you haven't seen the Doritos bag, soda pop bottles, or any of the other various media platforms that this has appeared on, there's a sequel to the Avengers movie coming out on the 1st of May.
Really?
Yeah, I know. It's amazing. It's Joss Whedon, written, directed, maybe co-written. I'm sure he has like a team of writers on that. Anyway, it's a sequel to the very big mega hit that came out a few years ago. This time the Avengers take on a power-mad robot that, from what I can tell from the trailer, in this particular version, okay? They're not going with the comics here, even though this is obviously based off the comics. Tony Stark has built some kind of peacekeeping robot named Ultron that's gone crazy and is trying to, of course, take over the world, you know.
Right. Like you do.
Like you do when you're a power-mad whatever you are. Okay, I'll just flat out say it looks awesome. Hopefully it will be awesome. That said, this is where we get into the kind of debate territory. I am over Joss Whedon, and I actually was never that into him. And all of his characters feel like recycled Buffy clones, like Captain America Xander in the first Avengers movie. There was like that moment that everybody thinks is so funny and cute with Captain America saying like, "Hey, I get that reference." Yeah. Which part of me thought was like, that's kind of funny, but at the same part, he's playing this kind of dope. Like this fish out of water dope, but which he was, because he's been thought out from like at this timeline, he was frozen after the end of the first Captain America movie, so he is a proverbial fish out of water. But at the same time, his character didn't feel quite the same to me as he had in the Captain America movies. And if you look at the Captain America Winter Soldier movie, he goes back to being this kind of straight-laced guy who's like stand up. I mean, this is the reason why he was chosen by the scientists to be Captain America, was because he was, at his heart and core, a guy who knew what he stood for, knew what he believed, and knew who he was and what he needed to do. So Captain America was this pretty stalwart guy. He is the Rock of Gibraltar. Okay, he is the straight-laced guy. And in the, how do I say it? He was Xander, okay? He was Xander from Buffy in the original Avengers movie, and that really bothered me. I'm fine with, I'm blanking her name suddenly, Scarlett Johansson playing the role of the kind of Buffy-ish character in the movie. Black Widow, thank you. I'm blanking on my character names. I know that's a sin. That's a cardinal sin here. But, her as Buffy as Black Widow. Here's the thing. Is I feel like, and this is again, we're all opinion here, I feel like he's been recycling that kind of same character set in his stuff, and I think at the time it was very different. Okay, that kind of cast of characters. But having seen a few episodes of Buffy, both playing in the background and having sat down and watched them, and having watched his first foyer. No, maybe actually I take that back. Alien Resurrection was his first foray into moviedom. I was going to say that Titan AE was. Having seen Titan AE, it also had kind of this cast of characters that had similar.
Well, it wasn't. Well, Titan AE, he had writing credit on.
He had writing credit on, but there were certain touches in there that just I was like, going back and watching it. I'm not looking for that, okay? I like Titan AE well enough, but there are certain touches in there that I'm just like, okay, this is.
Oh, that's Joss.
That's Mr. Whedon coming through again. And then I've tried twice. I'm not going to be a fan. Sorry again. I've tried to watch and be interested in Serenity, and it again comes across as.
You mean Firefly, of course.
Sorry, yeah, Firefly. Yeah, and it comes across as the same cast of characters in space only ish, with the same kind of personalities, and he is the father of snark, I think, in the modern generation. And it annoys the plucky out of me because it's not real wit. I'm sorry, but okay, off on my stupid Joss
and
Whedon.
Dr. Horrible, you want to say horrible things about Dr. Horrible too?
Yeah, I just want to shrug my shoulders at it. I know it was popular. I watched it. It was clever. But it's not, how do I say it? For everybody else who is a fan of his work, I can see where you'd be gangbusters excited about it.
I mean, only if by clever you mean awesome.
for me, I'm just sort of like, that was amusing. Like, how do I say? I enjoyed the very first song and setup and everything with him singing about freeze ray, stop the world, and all that. But I just past that. I was kind of like, okay, typical Joss Whedon. And how do I say it?
Okay, I like Joss. I see what you're saying, and definitely there is some aspects, a little bit more goofy aspects to his character in Avengers than there is in these standalone films. I see that, but Avengers on the whole was a good movie. It was a lot of fun.
It. See, maybe I come across.
I totally enjoyed it, and I think that you should little bit of respect. I mean, it was a fun movie. It was enjoyable.
I own it. I don't. How do I say it? I must obviously. Excuse me. Obviously, the fault lies with me here somewhere, because this is was a problem too when I was trying to explain to friends of mine how I was okay-ish with Wall-E. But I saw ish, like the first part of the film I was okay with. All the stuff on the spaceship with the fat
humans. When people showed up,
and then when people showed up, and it became a little mess.
You don't like people.
There was a 50-50 thing with me on that, and I was accused of like, oh, you keep on railing on how much you hate it. It's like, I saw the movie 2 or 3 times in the theater. Mm-hmm. How can you say I hated something when I saw it like? And I don't hate Avengers either. I own it. I've watched it a few times. It, however, to me is just overall an average film. Which is what you needed too, okay, to make this work. You needed a solid-ish in the kind of average appeals to everybody in that right way, not the George Lucas Star Wars Episode 1, I'm going to try to make it to appeal to everybody possible kind of way.
Right.
But in the actual, like, we're going to do fan service, but not too much fan service. So I think he hit a good medium there. I think that this is obviously going to be one of the biggest movies of the summer. It looks awesome. I'm going to go see it. I might see it twice. I'm leery about the writing. Okay, so I'm not as leery about I don't even say leery, quote unquote, about the writing as I was going into the Transformers sequels. Okay, where I basically was just, I'm going to see it once because I really want to see the Transformers on the big screen. And so help me, I'm still a sucker for that transform sound because it's awesome.
Yeah.
Especially when you hear it coming out and like,
Dolby
5.1, you have the coming through. You're like, awesome. Okay, I can go home now. This movie is obviously going to be very big, blockbuster, awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be big, and I see like it kind of has to bridge all of the genres and kind of be everything to all people, and you can't, have that, niche audience that you can't be all fanboy or all this or that. And I enjoyed it. I thought it was a lot of fun, goofy fun, certainly. But for what it was, all right. I think that they kind of had a little bit of the darkness, which kind of worked in there of, Iron Man still having Tony Stark having issues with his, drinking and trying to be, badass and so really not understanding what was going on and like trying to still posture up. And I enjoyed. I thought it was a lot of fun. Kind of looking forward to Ultron. I think the James Spader voice,
yes,
like really nails it. I think works very well, and I think that the bringing in Ultron is really going to help set up Civil War very well, as long as they can work it together, which it seems like the MCU has really come together in that way, because it seems like, because with what Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has going on is really helping to bring in the idea of bringing the separation, and from the trailers that I've seen, it seems like Iron Man is kind of beginning to separate out from the ideals of what the Avengers have, and maybe have like set up that split faction that's going to set up the new Civil War movie. So
plus you have like him in the Hulkbuster or something that you see in the trailers. You see that Iron Man Hulkbuster suit.
Oh yeah, he has the Hulkbuster suit. So I think that probably you have.
I'm still trying to
an
figure out whether
increasing
that's like
divide.
Ultron having taken over, or that's actually Stark in the suit.
Right, but see, I think that either way, you can have an incredible usefulness for building up.
Like, why would you build a suit that can take on the Hulk? Why would you do this? Kind of like,
why would you do that?
It has
And
echoes of the
even
story.
Ultron is basically Tony's creation.
Yeah.
So even if he didn't build it directly, his creation built it, and why would that happen? And so you can build that storyline so many different ways from there. So I like the trailers look, like stuff gets stomped on and smashed around and they destroy the city, and that's going to be whole lots of fun. But also I think that it looks like it's building up to Civil War very well. And so I'm kind of looking forward to that. Because Civil War is going to be so much huger, and it's going to more huge.
Huger than ever.
More huger than ever. And it's just going to make the MCU bigger,
No, and that's fine. So, I apologize for having gone off. I don't apologize for what I said, but too much about...
We digress.
We digress. Long and short of it, will it be good? Yeah.
Yeah.
Will it make money?
Oh yeah.
Do I want to see it? Oh
Yeah.
This is going to be an IMAX. I'm willing to spend the 3D bucks because I think, is it in 3D?
Oh,
I'm making
how
an
could it
assumption.
not be?
I'm making the assumption that it's in 3D. I'll spend the IMAX 3D money. Okay, that's what I'm saying. I'm going to spend the money to see that because I want to see it in the big theater.
$16 a ticket. I'll watch that.
I don't care. But what I do care about, what I won't spend a dime on, and I will recommend my wife not see, and which I would avoid seeing myself, is She's Funny That Way, a vehicle for Jennifer Aniston, and I feel bad about this too, Owen Wilson. I like Owen Wilson. I'm okay with Jennifer Aniston, but this movie has got to be... I don't have a clue what it's about. I looked at it, it's like maybe a romantic comedy with misunderstandings because the trailer is so horribly edited.
That you're really not sure? That was kind of my thing of there's... from near as I can figure, it's a therapist who tells a hooker to stop hooking.
Yeah,
and
okay.
then she shows up
at an audition because he's a casting
because
director.
he's also a casting director, or I have no idea.
And that's about that. That's about it. Is all I could get is that he pays a woman of the night to not do what she does, but she's actually, because she says she's a lady trying to be an actress. Yeah. And then she shows up. He basically says, okay, here, I'll give you money not to do that again because I don't want you not seeing your dreams realized or something. And then she does. And it looks like she's trying to pursue that dream by actually trying out for something. And lo and behold, she's trying out for the part of a mistress or whatever.
Right, yeah.
And that's where the trailer falls apart. I have no idea past that point what the heck's supposed to be going on with the characters. It's
there's like 5 new people show up in the trailer that
5 new people show up that don't seem connected to the story.
Yeah.
Like they're trying to say lines that sound like in context they might be set up for jokes. Yeah. It's like the whole thing is a mishmash, and I kept asking through what the heck is going on? Yeah. I feel like I watched it twice. I still had no idea what was going on.
Really
like past the
awful.
Point. And that's... Yeah, you want to talk about things that need a rewrite? Does the movie need a rewrite?
I have no idea. Because I can't figure out what the movie is. That trailer needs a rewrite. Maybe needs several.
Yeah.
It's just... No, okay. I think... No. It may end up being a pretty funny movie. I mean, you've got Owen Wilson, you've got Jennifer Aniston. Yeah. Both of them funny people. I've seen them in many funny things. So it could be a really funny movie. And I wouldn't imagine that both of them would independently choose to be in a horrible movie. And certainly I don't think that there's many movies that I've seen Jennifer Aniston in that I thought were horrible. I mean, certainly passable, but not horrible.
Along Came Polly. Well, it wasn't horrible.
It wasn't horrible. I mean, that was actually kind of funny. I think one of Ben Stiller's funnier movies, as it goes. I know, low bar. I know.
Low bar. What are your expectations for Ants? Or something?
Yes. Okay, but I like Zoolander. But yeah, and Dodgeball. But
that's
anyway,
more about Vince Vaughn. Digressing.
It is.
Okay, let's just sum this up because I don't know if we can say anything else and give
We
it
can't
justice.
really. I mean, judging by the trailer,
Will it
it's Kafka-esque.
yes, a mishmash of the everythingness that you do not know. Will it be good? I have no clue. Probably not, though. If the people who edited the trailer have no idea what to do with it.
Yeah, I guess if we're going by the trailer, then
no,
probably not. But I think that the idea, at least what I could conceptualize of the idea, sounds like a funny idea. So it might be funny.
Because they
except that apparently by the end of it, Owen Wilson is a cockroach.
Yeah, I don't get it. Yeah. Will it be good? No. Will it make money? I think it's going to be one of the bigger disasters of the summer that people are going to be, what the heck happened?
Along came Polly money. I think along came Polly money.
Along came Polly money.
Along came Polly money. So it'll make, 20, 30, it'll make a little bit on the back end, it'll make a little bit on video. Not really going to be decent. I mean, what else do we got coming on?
Do I want to see
Ultron?
It? No.
Well, it's counter programming. I mean, you got the counter programming.
Okay, but I think that the counter programming is going to be the other movie that we're talking about, which is for that weekend, which is Far From the Maddening Crowd. Okay.
You really think so?
I really think so. It's just okay. Wrapping up quickly with She's Funny That Way. I like both Aniston and Wilson. Unless another trailer comes out that sells it better, this movie is doomed to bomb because it has no selling point on it as a good counter programming kind of move. It looks like it's supposed to be going for that audience, for the audience that doesn't want to go see, for whatever weird reason, one of the biggest movies of the summer. But I would say that unless Far From the Maddening Crowd doesn't get a big release, which it might not.
Yeah, it might not.
But okay, let's set up the premise here. I don't recognize the actors. It's made by BBC Films, but if it's released, it could be a sleeper hit. And how do I put it? It has this look to it. And I was actually trying to describe it to my wife earlier, that it's set in that kind of period of Pride and Prejudice type things happening, right? for lack of a better way of putting it. And for me, that actually sounds interesting. I might actually be interested in seeing this because of its look and its feel. And how do I put it? It has been a while since there's been a movie geared for women that wasn't some narcissistic fantasy like Eat, Pray, Love, Repeat, or some unfunny flick formula with dumb misunderstandings where people don't talk to each other. It just looks like I think because it looks like Pride and Prejudice type movies, that is why I'm thinking that could be a bigger hit than the other, because it's been a while since a movie like that has come out.
Well, sure, and I can see that, and definitely I think that a period style piece, I think that there's definitely a selling point in that. I don't think it's going to get a big enough release. I think She's Funny That Way is going to get the bigger release. And hopefully we'll get a better trailer. But Far From the Maddening Crowd, I think that it looks really interesting. Romantic drama, which, one of, my things that I love to watch, and especially love the period thing. But especially I love that Michael Sheen is in it, who is probably one of the most underrated actors. Just love him to death. Anything he's in, I'll watch that. He's just great actor, and I just want to watch him.
I was gonna say, he's actually pretty good.
He is. The Damned United is probably one of my favorite films of the past 10 years. I really love that movie, and so I would want to see this on the basis of Michael Sheen. He's really good.
And I'd want to see it because it's a romantic movie that doesn't fall into one of the niches that I've hated so much over the past few years. Mm-hmm. That said, will it be good? I I think so.
Yeah.
Will it make money? I don't know.
Yeah, it depends on the release.
It depends on the release.
Probably be a limited release, so probably not big money, but yeah, make its budget, be good.
And honestly, do I want to see it? I might be interested.
I definitely want to see it.
So,
well, Michael Sheen.
Yeah.
I'll watch it.
Okay, and that's the movies that are coming out May 1st. Do we even need to take a guess here? No. You know, it's
What's
it's
going to be?
It's Ultron. The biggest movie of the weekend is Ultron.
You're sure not far from the
not far from the maddening.
far from the maddening crowd. You don't think
I
that's
will.
gonna?
Yeah, no.
That's gonna. You don't want to take the outside shot.
No.
You know, to pick the underdog. You don't want to pick the. Okay, fine. Age of Ultron. Age of Ultron's gonna win, of course, and he's gonna win. All right, what else we got?
May 8th, Hot Pursuit, starring Reese Witherspoon and I don't know the name of the other actress. I don't care. You can tell us it in a second, Lunchbox. The plot is apparently some uptight by-the-book cop, played by Witherspoon, tries to go and protect a sexy, outgoing widow of a drug boss as they race through Texas, pursued by crooked cops, gunmen, and, of course, hilarity ensues. I'm just like, no, and just no. And I don't know the audience for this one, and I feel like neither did the creators, because, again, it's like, I look at the ad and I have no interest, and maybe it's supposed to be like a woman empowerment movie, but even then, like, it looks like a female version of a buddy cop movie that might have been popular if it had come out like 15 years ago, or maybe the early 2000s-ish, because both of the characters seem unpleasant. There's like this stupid side swipe at Christians with the stereotype of a guy with a cowboy hat and like, I'm not into that thing or whatever. And I'm just like cringe-inducingly frustrating. And it just, I don't know. It just, everything about it just is irksome to me because it looks like it's as if somebody magically transported for, like, I'll go back to that, 2000s and said, let's make a buddy cop movie with women. And it's like, or maybe even the 90s. If this came out in the 90s with a slight revamp and maybe a cameo by Arnie, I'd see it. You're standing there.
Yeah, I'm just staring at you because I can't believe what you're saying. You're totally misunderstanding. First of all, it's Reese Witherspoon and Sofia Vergara.
There you go. That's the other actress that
is the sexy woman, which is apparently about as close as there is to a sexy woman in Hollywood these days, unless you count Christina Hendricks. That's
you're naming off names that I don't know. Reese Witherspoon I recognize because she's been around for a while.
Sofia Vergara is in Modern Family, which I haven't seen. I just happen to know that. But Sofia Vergara, she's been in a lot of commercials, and she's on Modern Family. But anyway, she's a comedic actress, and she's funny. Reese Witherspoon's funny, and it's not buddy cop. She's a cop protecting a witness.
It's
witness protection movie. It's Bulletproof.
I was gonna say Eraser.
Eraser, sure.
Oh, but Bulletproof's probably a better
Bulletproof
example.
Probably because it's more comedic.
Yeah.
Right? So it's a comedy,
quote unquote.
Yeah. Well, I thought Bulletproof was funny, so whatever. So, but I think...
When did Bulletproof come out? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
But I think it's funny. It's two female, it's a female cop and the female protectee, and they're making it across the country, and they're trying to get her transported and having hilarious hijinks along the way. Hilarity ensues. Yes, I know. Yeah, probably stupid, but stupid funny, and I think that it looks incredibly funny. I thought Jim Gaffigan's line that he delivered about, well, I wouldn't be interested in that because I'm a Christian, I thought that was funny.
That pisses people like me off because it's like Hollywood can't think outside. Like, they hate stereotypes, but then they do stupid stuff like that. This may be...
How stereotyped is Sofia Vergara? She's her own stereotype.
Again, you're going to... Like, you're naming off her name like I'm supposed to care about this. Like, Reese Witherspoon, like, I'll recognize in an instant, but...
But she makes fun of herself, too, about being, like, blonde and short. Like, the whole, running gag through the whole thing is that she's short and Sofia Vergara is old. That's like a running gag in the trailer, probably in the movie.
No, I'm assuming that. And it's just, how do I say it? I think I say, how do I say it? Way too much. I just...
Switch over to Como se dice.
Como se dice estúpido. I don't know. This could be the counter-programming to Age of Ultron, only it's coming out a week late.
I think that counts in its favor, actually, because No, well, actually, probably against the other movies coming out that week, probably would have been better to release a week earlier. But yeah, I think it's probably going to be huge. I can see that. Looks funny. I enjoyed the trailers. I think it'll be a lot of fun.
Oh, then I guess that leaves it to the, like, will you see it?
Yeah, I'll see it.
I won't. Will it make money? It might.
Yeah.
I think it will,
Yeah.
just because
Yeah, I think it'll
it's
make a bunch
different
of
than
money.
what else is out right then.
Yeah.
And do I think you should see it? I would say no. But I'm going to assume that Lunchbox is going to say
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Because
I
I'm
think you should.
really prescient like that.
You must be psychic or something.
I'm psychic. And speaking of creepy, freaky powers, we're going to go with Before I Wake also comes out on May 8th. And it's a horror movie with Thomas Jane and some lady playing the mom. I don't know who. And mother and father of a foster child whose dreams become reality. It's PG-13, so it might be able to do spooky without relying on stupid gruesomeness.
Yeah.
And it reminds me a little bit of The Lathe of Heaven, where the guy...
I don't think I've seen that one.
It's one where basically this guy his dreams become reality.
Okay.
And a psychologist finds this out, and he's trying to help manipulate the guy's dreams so that reality becomes utopia and whatnot. Mm-hmm. But yeah, okay, it's a horror movie. Wow, you couldn't tell that coming with a kid in the title, huh? Or kid is... Okay, so basically this foster kid, he has dreams, they come to life, and sometimes they're magic happy dreams, like the kid dreams of well, they show on the trailer, basically the mother and father who've adopted this kid, they lost their own kid.
Yeah.
But the kid dreams, and he dreams the kid back to life until he wakes up.
Yeah.
And so like, oh, so he can dream butterflies, he can dream rainbows, he can dream dead people back to life while he's asleep. But he also can dream...
If he has a nightmare, and then Freddy Krueger shows up and slashes everybody to death.
Yeah, and that's what it is. And it's just like, I'm kind of tired of the kids can be creepy kind of genre thing.
Yeah, and it's kind of the dreams are real, kids are creepy kind of crossover movie, which I know.
I like Thomas Jane, though.
Yeah, Thomas Jane's cool. I like Thomas Jane. I should watch that Punisher movie again.
Yeah. Before going to see Before I Wake, go see Punisher instead. It's just, it looks...
I can't even come up with enough to say about it that it's just...
And that's funny enough, my final thoughts that I'd written down were forgettable horror movie that bombs. Yeah. Because it's coming out at the wrong time.
Yeah, exactly.
It's up against much stronger competition. And it's a horror movie in a kind of genre style that is itself dying out. Again, the creepy kid thing.
Yeah. And I've seen the creepy kid thing done so well that,
this time he doesn't have eyes. I'm like, I saw that several years ago. It was creepy. I admit, the first time I saw it.
The first time, that was kind of creepy.
Yeah. Will it be good?
Baby. Okay.
No,
chance.
Will it make money? No.
No.
Do you want to see it?
No.
You and the audience don't see it. Don't. No. If you want to see a Thomas Jane movie, pick up Punisher again.
Yeah.
Watch that again.
Rewatch Punisher.
All right. Something you do want to watch, though. I want to watch Skin Trade. I'm going to read directly off of the IMDb type thing that I've seen. After his family is killed, but you can also... I'm just reading this. After his family is killed by a Serbian boss of a global crime syndicate, New York City detective Nick goes to Southeast Asia and teams up with a Thai detective to get revenge and to destroy the syndicate's evil human trafficking operations. Starring Dolph Lundgren and Tony Jaa. And it gets bonus points in my book for having Peter Weller as the tough as nails police chief and Ron Perlman is the bad guy. I mean, this movie oozes like kind of 80s, early 90s goodness to me. And I sound
the best movie ever.
I know, and I feel bad saying like I'm so enthused in the first line. His family's killed. Okay, but trust me here because it's always like something like you gotta start somewhere bleak so the hero has motivation to like, muscle up and go shoot lots and lots of bad guys who just come by the truckloads.
It's like Rush Hour, except that it's crossed with Red Heat. It's Red Heat and Rush Hour, and they mashed them together and then RoboCop is there too.
Yes, and RoboCop's their boss. So how can this not be
RoboCop's
awesome?
the boss. RoboCop's the boss. You've got Red Heat, and you got Rush Hour, and RoboCop's the boss.
And they're fighting Hellboy.
And they're fighting Hellboy.
There we go.
Here you go. Yes,
Ta-da.
I'm in.
I'm in.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Best movie. Best
movie
ever.
of the ever.
That's gotta be awesome.
Yeah.
How could that not be awesome?
How can this? I'm gonna have to see it by myself. But will it be good? Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh
Heck
yeah.
yeah.
It can't not be.
It's gonna be Dolphalicious.
Yes.
Tony
Like,
Johnson.
it might not be the best movie you ever saw, but it just might be the best movie you ever saw.
Yeah. Will it make money? I hope to God so.
Oh,
It
really?
looks
I
fun.
hope so. I really hope so. I mean, yeah, looking at, well, you know, I mean, really, that weekend, that specific weekend, it's really only up against Hot Pursuit. So maybe, I mean, if it gets a big enough push, gets released on enough screens, I think that the whole not being able to understand either of the lead actors might
work for it. It's been a while since we've had some nice, thick accented people in the leading role of
right,
an
but
American
usually
film.
you can understand one of them. I mean, you know, you
I
got
hope for
two people you can't
subtitles or something.
understand.
Dolph is somewhat understandable. Tony Jaa is somewhat understandable.
Yeah, thick accents.
Okay.
I hope that it gets a big enough release and gets pushed hard enough that it ends up number one that weekend at the box office.
So do you want to see it? You in the audience? Yes, you do.
Yes.
You stop what you're
Everyone
doing.
wants to see it.
You line up now. Okay, maybe not that's but you go see this movie.
I think Mom's standing in front of the theater as we speak.
Because it has Dolph Lundgren in it.
And Tony Jaa.
And Tony Jaa. And our mom loves these kind of action movies. And let's face it, we do too.
Yeah.
They're awesome.
I'm going to be in line behind her after we finish this.
Okay. Yeah, really. Alrighty, moving on to 5 Flights Up. So after all that enthusiasm.
Yeah, all that enthusiasm and you just dropped off.
5 Flights Up, starring Diane Keaton, Morgan Freeman. They're an old married couple looking to sell their old apartment loft in Brooklyn so that they can live in some place which might be better suited to their ages, which according to the trailer basically means somewhere with an elevator.
Yeah.
Which, and I guess is the whole theme, 5 flights up because they have to walk up 5 flights of stairs because they're old and they can't walk up that many steps anymore. Got it. They're old. That plays throughout.
Yeah.
Okay, there's something in
Kind
the
of
trailer.
the running gag is that we're too old for this.
Yeah, basically. Okay, there's something in the trailer with a dog Freeman's character owns being in the hospital because it's old, so naturally there's a metaphor there somewhere, and naturally the dog's going to be dead before the end.
Oh, yeah.
Because the dog always dies in these kind of...
Never kill
unlike
the dog.
the action movies, where the dog always lives. With the sentimental movies, the dog dies.
Right, and it's a comedy,
And
so
plus
you've
they
got to
mention
have...
the dog's old.
Right, and you've got to have your dramatic point in the middle of your comedic movie, otherwise it doesn't work. Even Shakespeare knew that. So you have the dramatic, the low point, in order to emphasize the comedy. It's mature romantic comedy. And I enjoy those, kinda. Like, really not my thing. Maybe I'm just not old enough yet to really be into it. I mean, maybe I just don't think that Diane Keaton is attractive enough to
That's just
get
because she
Morgan
doesn't know how to
Freeman.
dress herself in her late 60s or whatever she is.
Right, well, she kind of stuck with the Annie Hall thing. But Morgan Freeman, definitely attractive.
To their
enough
credit,
to get
Diane
somebody
Keaton
better.
and Morgan Freeman are big-name stars
True.
that would be able to bring in an audience that recognizes their names.
True, but then, like, the only one that springs to mind is Nights at Rodanthe, which had a horrible name, but had Richard Gere and Diane Lane. And that did mediocre. I mean, I just don't see this being anything.
No.
I mean, it gets that sort of crowd, the people that wanted to watch Under the Tuscan Sun for the 100th time for some unknown reason because it put me to sleep. But,
Movies
yes.
to fall asleep by Lunchbox.
Yeah, see,
What you're going to want to do is put the DVD in like this.
It says cures your insomnia. Yes.
It says that right on the box.
Yeah,
actually.
right. Yeah, I think that's the little quote there by One More Rewrite. Cures insomnia.
We should release our own set of movie box sets movies to fall asleep by.
Cure for insomnia.
Yeah, the other
Yes.
one.
I'll
Okay.
start with I Dreamed of Africa. That's right at the top of my list.
Yeah, please don't say that. It just makes me young thinking of it. Okay, here, as my friend Brad likes to say, here's my take on that. It almost looks too charming, if that can be a thing. Like, it's trying too hard to be that sleeper hit. Because there's movies that I don't think try to be that sleeper hit, but they're hoping, like, maybe we can make some money. And then...
The bucket list?
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. That you just, like, they are trying to be that sleeper hit, and it feels like it. And this one almost feels like that. Like, it's kind of hoping to sneak under the Avengers radar here and scoop up money that the older crowd who might not want to see action movies would see. But, sorry, I think even the older crowd will be bored by this, because, how do I say it? Our mom and dads would be much more interested in seeing Age of Ultron twice, I think, than seeing this.
Well, certainly, but that's kind of more their taste. I mean, I certainly see the divorced women crowd definitely wanting to see this.
Is that the Diane Keaton crowd?
Yeah, that's the Diane Keaton crowd.
Okay.
And they watch a lot of movies, trust me. I mean, I think that it'll find an audience, and I think that the crowd is there. I mean, I think that there's definitely enough there that they'll have a following, and it kind of looks a little funny. It's actually one of those that I actually might watch. You know, it's one of those, it's the middle of the night and I'm bored kind of, hey, oh yeah, that one looked like it might have been fun. Yeah, and, you know, some of the lines in the trailer are kind of humorous, and so, you know, it's not laugh out loud funny, but it's one of those, you know, kind of, hey, that's, yes, kind of makes you feel pleasant.
I had a pleasant laugh. It's some sort of erudite, pleasant, I don't know.
It's more of a pathos. You just get kind of a warm fuzzy.
Yeah, but again, I feel like it's trying too hard to sell that it's maybe not trying too hard, but just enough to make me go, eh.
Yeah.
So,
and definitely it's not one that I'm gonna run out and watch, but I definitely got the warm fuzzy.
So will it be good? Average, my opinion.
I think it'll probably be average. Maybe a little
better
than average for that genre. I think a little better than average. Will it make money? Yeah, it'll do okay.
I actually have this down as I think it's going to bomb.
Really?
I do. I may think that... I'm blanking on it already, thank God. Hot Pursuit. I may think Hot Pursuit looks stupid, but it might bring in money.
Oh, it's definitely gonna.
And I think it's going to bomb. I think it's coming out at the wrong time. I think that it's not going to be the sleeper hit that it hopes to be.
I think it'll probably do well, and I think that probably it does have. I think it'll have the legs to kind of hold over for a few weeks, and kind of and do fairly well for itself. Actually, I think there's enough of an audience for it that, and it looks funny enough that I think the crowd will watch it.
Okay, so
their target audience will watch that, and they aren't people that rush out and watch opening weekend necessarily. But there are people that have a steady audience. I think you got a steady audience.
People who don't watch an opening weekend cripple the chances of it staying around.
No, I think it'll do okay. I think that'll
Do
stay.
you think the people in the
enough.
audience will want to see it? Maybe.
Well, our audience, no. But yeah, I think it'll be pretty good for that genre.
Okay.
Pretty good.
Wrapping up the May 8th weekend, there's actually a movie that I don't know anything about, but Lunchbox here wants to talk about. It's Saint Laurent.
That's Saint Laurent.
Okay, well, tell us a little bit more about it.
It's a biopic about Yves Saint Laurent, the famous fashion designer, and actually it looks pretty good. It's kind of following his life and all of his troubles. Kind of he had a lot of health issues and kind of was a recluse for most of his life. And actually the show looks really interesting. And being a fan of fashion and such, I think it actually looks pretty good. And it's not going to bring in a whole lots of money. I mean, it's a documentary. People don't usually watch documentaries and probably won't get a big release. But it's one that I definitely want to see. I think it looks really interesting. If you're into fashion at all, then you definitely know who Yves Saint Laurent is. And if you aren't into fashion at all, then yeah, wait for my review and I'll let you know if the movie's any good. But it definitely looks that way.
And I won't make any. I thought early on about making a joke about this, but if it's a film that appeals to its niche. So
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, it's a documentary about a
It's
fashion designer, and if you're interested in
not a
fashion at
documentary,
all,
It looks more like a
it's a
drama-mentary or whatever you want to
right.
call
Yeah,
it.
it's a biopic.
Biopic. Thank you. That's
Yeah,
what
it's
it is.
a biopic. It's not a documentary.
Not to be confused with Biodome. Oh, I got a joke in. Thank you.
But yeah, it's a biopic about him, and actually it looks like it's really well done. From what I've seen in the trailers,
I'm just hoping
looks
you're
like
not
a
being
really
sold
interesting
on
show.
the costume design here element of it, but I digress.
A little bit. Well, I mean, I'm a fan of fashion in all its forms, and definitely have been a fan of Yves Saint Laurent for a while. YSL designs, always, I really liked the way that he had designed things. So it's interesting to me to see a biopic about his life, and also to see all of the incredible fashions all over again. So I'm interested to see it, just to know more about Eve. So
Okay, well, that pretty much wraps up that weekend of the 8th. I think that is. Yeah, that's the 8th. And again, I don't know if we need to rediscuss this. It's going to go to Age of Ultron. Again, Age of Ultron is going to hold on strong. Maybe Hot Pursuit in second. God, I would love it if Skin Trade came in second, but it won't. I'm saying Age of Ultron again is going to win that weekend. That's the second weekend of Age of Ultron.
Yeah, second weekend of Age of Ultron. So I think that you've got to give Age of Ultron at least 2 weeks. I think that definitely you'll have the holdover for Age of Ultron. Hot Pursuit, probably right. Take a second. Skin Trade, it just needs enough of a release and big enough push behind it, and it'll definitely.
I would say hopefully top 5.
Definitely get third if it gets a big enough push. It has the Hot Pursuit Skin Trade might be a little close, except that you've got Age of Ultron still pulling in the action people.
Yeah.
So probably not going to make first. So probably you'll get Age of Ultron, get Hot Pursuit, and then Skin Trade, depending on the push, is probably a little bit lower.
Yeah. All right, now we're moving on to the weekend of May 15th. And coming out is a movie that I wasn't excited at first to see, but now I'm kind of hyped for it. Mad Max Fury Road, starring Tom Hardy, Charlize Theron? I don't know. Charlize Theron. And it looks fun. It looks awesome.
Yeah.
There's practical effects in here, which I think looks awesome, and it makes me feel enthused for it. There's a bad guy named Imperator Furiosa, which I think has good callbacks to Lord Humongous from the original series. Yeah. And it has good, like I said, a good mix of CG and practical effects, because there are CG effects in there, computer graphic effects. But it does look like the bulk of it is practical, which you need for a movie like this.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that George Miller said when he was doing it, was that he wanted to do as much as he possibly could practical. So, yeah, it definitely practical makes a big difference in watching it, because even if you're doing something that you know that could be done practical, if they do it CG, you can tell. Like, it's still not perfect enough that you don't know that they did that CG. No matter how banal it is. For the most part, if it's something happening, is that real? Is that CG? You can kind of tell the difference. It's one of the things that really Death Race.
That's what
Jason Statham won.
Death Race such a phenomenal. That sounds overselling it, but it's what makes it a good movie. Is the practical effects.
Is that it was all practical. They flip trailers and stuff, and that was what George Miller was going for. Is what he really wanted to do, was just have this incredible race across the desert with tons of practical effects and incredible stuff that you didn't think that they could do.
Which is stupid because you can do that stuff. It's just like nobody wants to anymore. Nobody wants to go through the effort of making, I was going to say, making something look awesome. But here, Age of Ultron, obviously, I think by necessity, has to have a good load of CG effects because you can't really make a good-looking Hulk practical. You can't make a good-looking... Well, I don't know, take that back. You can't make 100% practical all the time Ultron or robots things. But with something like Mad Max, you want that, you need that in order to sell it. And this movie looks awesome because it sells that. And it sells exactly what it has as practical effects. I think that it's been a while since we've seen a movie like that, where it's been like, wow, they actually did that. You see all those explosions and stuff? You see that guy flipping on the ladder? That happened.
Yeah, well, then that's kind of what I meant by stuff that you couldn't do. It's stuff that, like, there's no way they actually did that. Like you see in the trailer, the guy on the big hinge swinging over across the different cars. You're like, wow, they didn't really put a person up there. And you're like watching it and you're like, well,
they really put a person
up there. And you're like, yeah, wow, they really went all out on this. And it really looks like they went all out on it. And that's really what is the giant selling point. Plus, it's George Miller came back, like, creator of the original Mad Max.
I was going to say, the original creator came back. That's a key. Yeah,
the original guy, George Miller, came back, creator of Mad Max, Babe 2, Pig in the City, like, just really great filmmaker, and he did the original Babe also. But,
yeah.
But Mad Max was really, what made him famous, and for him to come back to do it again and to do in what looks like from the trailer such spectacular fashion, no wonder we're all excited.
Yeah, I was gonna say it has this beautiful bombacity to it. You're just like, I mean, like I've seen so many people with that. Oh, what a lovely, lovely day, quoting that, and they haven't even seen the movie, and it looks awesome.
Yeah,
let's just put it. It looks over the top awesome.
Yeah.
And final thoughts. Will am I gonna go see it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Big screen, definitely.
Yeah, definitely watch it.
Will it make money? Oh yeah. This is taking one of like the top 5 big 100 million, no doubt, kind of things.
Oh, easily. That's easily 150, 200
opening weekend. This is going to be one of the bigger opening weekends of the summer.
And not only do I believe that, forget who's putting it out, but whoever that is believes that too. I know that because 2 days ago, Tom Hardy announced that he was signed on for 3 sequels.
Oh, really? So they have a lot of faith in this film.
They really do. Yeah.
Oh,
3
cool.
sequels. That's
3. Not even 2 sequels.
Not even just 2
trilogy.
sequels. To make the trilogy, he signed on for 3 sequels.
And
so,
should you go see this?
Yeah.
I want to see those other sequels.
Yes, definitely.
Alrighty. So, yeah, barring abysmal word of mouth, this movie is just, I think it's going to be awesome. Alrighty. Also coming out the 15th of May, we've got Pitch Perfect 2, starring people who I have very little doubt will have not much of a career after this. It oversells the girl power thing to me. Like, I don't have a problem with girl power-ish movies. I mean, you got a kid. I like the big dumb action guy movies. I mean, like Tony Jaa and Dolph Lundgren hooking up. Why shouldn't there be some kind of thing? But I feel like women should want more, and so should teenage girls from their film, because I felt stupider after having seen the trailer. I can't imagine sitting through 2 hours of this. And again, maybe it's because I'm not a teenage girl and never was or will be, but it looks dumb. It looks, how do I say, there was a movie that came out, was it Step It Up or something? It looks like a reboot.
Step Up?
Step Up? Was it like a dance movie that came out like a decade ago or so?
Yeah. They've made a number of sequels.
Yeah, only stupid. Only with stupid people being stupid and doing stupid things. I can't say stupid enough because the movie is just makes me feel stupid for having watched its trailer. It's. Did I say stupid?
I cannot wait to watch this movie. I am so looking forward to this. I love the original. I've watched it multiple times. Totally fun. I love singing movies. I love a cappella. It's going to be great. Apparently Pentatonics is in the new movie, which is just awesome. They did their own arrangement for a new song. I can't wait. This is going to be so much fun. You really have no idea what you're missing with Pitch Perfect. It is so much goofy fun. You're just so totally wrong on this one. You are so totally wrong on this.
If it does well, that's its thing.
And it so totally is because it's awesome.
I would say it's in my top 5 of movies that I hope bomb over the summer.
Aka what? No. Pitch Perfect. I cannot wait for this, and I expect that I will watch it multiple times, and it's going to be awesome, and hopefully as awesome as the original. But
let's go to the breakdown. Will it be good?
Yes. Oh, yes, it will. From the trailer, I could see they got the same feeling from the original. It's going to be so much fun. I'm really going to enjoy it.
Okay. Will it make money?
Yes. Oh, yeah. It's going to make tons of money.
This is why we can't have fun things and good things in America, is because you go out and see stupid movies like Pitch Perfect 2. But also, it's counter-programming to Mad Max.
It is. Yeah.
So it's a smart
probably
move.
Going to be 2 to Mad Max, but yes.
There's going to be, probably going to be some, in my opinion, PBF factor going on here. That's the.
Well, yeah. I mean, certain amounts of that, but so does Mad Max. I got a little bit of that. Not quite as much as Pitch Perfect does, granted, because I think that you've got a larger demographic going to Pitch Perfect because everybody will want to see that because it's going to be awesome.
Do you want to see it? You out in the audience?
Yes.
Lunchbox thinks you will. I don't think you will. You might want to watch it on
I think you should
streaming.
watch it twice.
Lunchbox thinks you should go to the
I think you should go buy the DVD as soon as it comes out. I think you should see it at the theater. It's going to be awesome.
We're going to take a second here. Also coming out on that weekend is a movie that I think might be a sleeper hit. And Lunchbox hasn't seen the trailer for this, and I did, just because perusing, seeing what else is coming out that day. It's a movie called Where Hope Grows. It looks kind of bland, but it looks like an upbeat Hallmark Channel movie with better production values. It's about a washed-up baseball player who has a drinking problem. He forms an unlikely connection, one of those movies, an unlikely connection, with a kid who has Down syndrome at his local supermarket. He's like he does produce or something like that. And props to them, because it's an actual kid with Down syndrome, not somebody playing like they're... Right. But an actual kid with Down syndrome, and it's limited release, but to its credit, it looks kind of well acted. It talks about faith a bit. So I don't know if it's a Mormon movie or a Christian movie, but I'm guessing that it's done low budget and it's going to do well. That this is one of those sleeper hits, maybe like the top 5 things here. It's going to probably be a sleeper hit because it will cater to Christian crowd. It has one of those kind of redemptive stories, and I would say almost best of all, it looks well done. Because so many of these movies, you can have shelffuls and shelffuls of movies that just are not that good, that cater, and because those of us who lean that way will want to see movies because you don't see them that often. We'll probably buy them on the shelf at a video store or give them one watch and then forget about them. Yeah. But it's nice when you see something like, that actually looks like they actually tried, so I might enjoy this. And again, I know, just like the French film, or not French film, but film about the French production designer isn't your thing, isn't my thing. I know this wouldn't be your thing, but those who might be interested in this, I would say give it a look because it has better production values, and quite frankly, there are times when faith movies just totally lack that. Let's be frank.
Yeah, most of the time.
Most of the time, and when you do have money, you don't blow it on Nick Cage. You spend it on the writing. If you have the chance to put like a book that's done gangbusters like Left Behind on the big screen, what you do is you hire some actor who you think can handle the role, but you put the money into the writing first. Not here. We spent $20 million. We got Nick Cage.
Yeah, which was a remake of the Kirk Cameron.
Which was a remake of the Kirk Cameron one, which was more faithful to the book, but which had poor production values.
Yeah.
Which again, it's just like, if you could count some fusion, you might have actually had a good movie here somewhere. Anyway, okay.
I wouldn't bother watching either one, but yeah,
I
you're
argue
into that sort of thing.
I argue that there is the market out there, and there could be something well done for a faith movie that could turn heads, that could get you to go see it if it was done well. It's just you'd never have that. You never have that intersect of like production values and I can't think of a better way to put it. Cast value, if you know what I mean. Like
right.
you get one, but you don't get the other. Like you can get Nick Cage and boom, look, we have a plane and lots of explosions and stuff.
Yeah.
Or you can get something that's like it's well written-ish, but doesn't have the actors to pull it off or anything. And I feel like if you had like a mixing of those, you'd do well. They've tried. Oh wait, no, they did it. It was back in the 50s. It was called Ben-Hur.
Yeah. They're redoing that.
Oh, they're redoing that. What a horrible idea. Anyway, moving on. I don't know how it'll do. I think it could do well. I think it's going to be a sleeper hit because it's probably not made for that much money.
Well, yeah, I think it'll probably do all right. I mean, faith-based movies always do okay and probably do even better on video. It's kind of one of those of like people recommend to their friends at church and like, oh, have you seen the new Tyler Perry? And
Nobody
watch it.
It's Tyler Perry movies.
No, a lot of people do actually, and it'll be a similar sort of thing. Like if you watch this, hey, you should watch this here, or they'll buy it for their friends at church. And so it'll
this
end
one
up
I can
being
see.
okay.
There's been a number of movies that have come out that have tried to do like we're catering to you films that just like everybody's like, no, I'm not seeing that. It's stupid. Mm-hmm. So anyway, let's
kind of how I always feel about those movies, but I think it probably has its audience and probably it'll do all right.
Moving on to Slow West, also coming out this weekend. This weekend being the May 15th here, and a Western thriller. A guy who goes hunting for this girl that he has fallen in love with, who had to flee from Ireland to go to the States. Mm-hmm. It's set in the 1800s. It's kind of this. How do I say it? I actually first thought it was a direct-to-video thing because it says direct-TV on the trailer. But it looks interesting. It's been a while since I've seen a Western a Western period, actually.
Yeah. Other than True Grit.
Other than True Grit. I take it back. I was going to say something about how it's first time I've seen a Western in a while that looked somewhat good, but it's the first time I've seen a Western in a while, period.
Yeah. True Grit was a few years back.
True Grit was a few years back now. I'm not sure. Honestly, should you go see it? What are your thoughts here?
Well, I think it looks interesting. I definitely like the fugitive aspect of like he's kind of being hunted by the law kind of thing.
And he's wet behind the ears kind of a person.
Yeah, and he's got this older, more experienced guy leading him along. It's kind of a Western kind of trope.
It reminds me of some of the Louis L'Amour books I've read, just seeing it. And that might be why I like it, because you have the younger character who's learning about what it is to live in the West, and he seems like he's the good guy. It's not just a protagonist, but he's a good guy.
Yeah.
And he's learning how to handle
you're
himself.
not sure that the guy who's leading him along, whether or not he is a good guy.
Yeah, and that's happening. It happens in the Louis L'Amour books, is that he'll have.
And it's kind of a Western kind of thing, and which we've seen in many iterations. Definitely seen it most recently on Game of Thrones. But you have the guy that you're not sure about leading the good guy along, and so. Yeah, I think that it looks like an interesting movie. I think it'll probably be all right. Kind of, how good, kind of have to wait and see. But I definitely want to see to know.
Yeah.
Like, it's one that I really, interested to see the reviews, but not really waiting to see the reviews because I kind of want to see it and judge it myself.
Yeah.
I'd be kind of interested to hear what other people have to say about it, but I kind of want to see it and like say, yeah, I like that movie, or no, that movie wasn't my cup of tea.
Yeah.
But yeah, it looks interesting.
Will you see it? I'll see it.
Yeah,
I'll check it
I'm
on the
definitely
video.
gonna see it.
Will it make its money back? I don't know. It's up against too much strong competition.
I mean,
and if this is it depends on the release. It depends on how wide this release is.
And it doesn't look like it was that expensive to make.
No.
So I think that probably
50-50 shot that it makes its money back.
I think it'll make its money. I think it'll do okay. Probably limited release, and it'll do okay.
I'll watch it on video. And should you guys at home watch it, I would say if you miss it in the theaters, it's okay. You can see it on video or streaming on demand or whatever in like 2 months' time. Because it has that feel to it.
Yeah, probably be a pretty quick turnaround on it. And if you do see it before I do, send us a message. It's at One More Rewrite.
Yeah. That's on Twitter, folks. Moving on to... wait, that's it for that week. Okay, so what do we think is going to win that weekend?
Oh, what
That's
do we
May
got?
15th. That's Mad Max Fury Road, Pitch Perfect 2, Where Hope Grows, which I don't know why I mentioned that one, and Slow West.
Yeah, Slow West.
Mad Max Fury Road all the way.
Mad Max, yeah.
I'm
Mad
hoping
Max,
that...
Yeah, Mad Max all the way. Pitch Perfect's going to do boffo business. It's
Are
going
you
to
really
be
thinking...
big.
Okay, but do you think it's going to come in second or third? Is the
That's
thing.
second.
You think it's going to knock out Age of Ultron? That's third
Oh,
week?
yeah.
Well, Age of Ultron being its first week, second week, third
week.
Third week by then.
Yeah.
And its third week, you think it'll knock out Age of Ultron?
Definitely.
I don't see it.
Pitch Perfect's going to be big.
I see Mad Max... I was going to say Iron Man. It's going to be Mad Max, Avengers, and then Pitch Perfect. Because even if Pitch Perfect picks up on the people who aren't going to see those two movies, I still think that there's enough people who are going to want to go see...
You go see an action movie, or you go see the acapella movie.
Or you
That's
go
the
see
way
two
it is.
action movies, because you get refills on the popcorns and drinks when you get the large. That sounds like I'm still looking at the theater, doesn't it? But yeah, that's just me. Like, I'd make a weekend out of going and seeing those two movies.
Well,
And then sneak in and rescue people from Pitch Perfect 2 so they can go watch Age of Ultron with me.
Pitch Perfect 2 is going to be so much fun, and you're really missing out on not watching it.
I guess I'll just miss out. So, we're moving on to May 22nd. These are your Memorial Day weekend movies. The ones that used to signify the start of the summer season.
Used to be.
Used to be. Starting off with Tomorrowland, starring George Clooney in a film based off of a theme park. God, we're getting desperate.
It's not even a theme park. It's a section of a theme park.
A section of the theme park. Disneyland, the movie, is what's up next. We're doing a section of the theme park now. Because they're
going to build their whole universe. It's going to be the DCU, the Disneyland.
The Disneyland
Cinematic Universe.
Yeah, actually, DCU would still work. The Disneyland Company universe. Anyway, I don't think they're getting too desperate yet, are they?
Yeah, sounds like it.
Kinda. Okay. Back when Pirates came out, everybody thought it was a stupid idea.
Yeah.
And it's done gangbusters. Every single one.
Yeah,
and
right.
that's why they decided to make the horrible movie that was known as the Country Bear Jamboree. And that's why they decided to also give a try to Haunted Mansion and then piss it away by casting Eddie Murphy and horrible script and blah.
Yeah, a horrible script, I'll grant you. Eddie Murphy was kind of
I don't blame
Eddie Murphy was all right in it. It was a horrible script. It was
a horrible script and
I'll grant you a horrible script.
Haunted Mansion could have been a good movie, but I
been.
digress.
It needed to be R-rated though. See, that's the problem.
No, I think it could have been like
you really needed a scary movie there.
I think it could have been a fun family film, but not fun family film, quote unquote. But anyway, digressing, going to George Clooney in this movie, it's obviously going to be a CG heavy film, but it looks like a CG heavy film that's used in a heart kind of way, which not unexpected for Disney. Even after seeing the trailers, I'm a bit unsure about what it's about, but that's fine by me. That actually works for it in my view. I'm kind of intrigued by what's going on because you got this girl picking up a button when she's being released from juvie, and then boom, she's in like this other weird field. Right. She's in the field of dreams, and Kevin Costner's off in the distance trying to contact baseball players.
Build it, they will come.
Yeah, and not to mention Clooney seems to be playing some kind of eccentric inventor, and I like that kind of changes up the usual whole wild hairdo Doc Brown knockoff thing that's been happening since Doc Brown.
Right.
So it's got that going for it. This, I was gonna say originally was a sleeper hit, but it's during Memorial Day weekend, so it's obviously supposed to be a big boffo
Right, and it's huge. Clearly looking at the trailer, definitely big budget. I mean,
Oh,
she
yeah.
she picks up that pin and gets instantly transported to
She
entire CG world. I mean, there's giant
Yeah.
CG castles and stuff all over the place.
Yeah.
You know, it's definitely big budget boffo. But I think that the problem is she picks up a pin and goes to a magic place. Okay. She's supposed to save that place in some way.
Yeah, I get that from the trailers, but
That's
why?
about as much as I got from the trailer. And really, watching the trailer, all I could think watching the trailer is those other movies that were like that, that had kind of spanning space-time and had different places. What was that? Cloud Atlas. You had what was the other one of like through different times? Where different people played the same people over time, and there's
King Arthur's Court? No, I'm just kidding.
No.
I know what you mean. I can't think of it,
But you have a few of those movies where it was these big grand scape where it was trying to do so much, but you watch the trailer and you're like, what? What's going on? I really don't understand this.
See,
I don't get it.
In the exact same way that the Owen Wilson, Jennifer
Mm-hmm.
Aniston movie could not sell it to me with its confusion, this one almost does, because there's, I don't want to say the CG settles me, but there's some kind of intrigue there that pulls me in. And I think that will pull in people too. And this will be the natural follow-up movie to Age of Ultron as far as films that you can take the whole family to. Because it's Disney. So this is just...
I think you're totally wrong. I think this is the gigantic bomb of the summer.
You think this is the big bomb of the summer?
This is the big bomb of the summer. No one's going to see this. It's going to bomb huge.
What are you basing that off of? Not that I'm disagreeing with you. You're horribly wrong on this, by the way. No, just kidding. Why do you say this is the big bomb?
The trailer makes no sense. It reminds me of those other movies that had across space-time things going on. All of those bombed. Nobody gets it. Nobody's interested. It doesn't make any sense, and it doesn't even look like Tomorrowland at Disneyland. Like it
can't have the people mover. Oh wait, they got rid of that. I know what you mean.
It has to have some sort of relationship to Tomorrowland at Disneyland, at least on some level, and it has none of that. So there's not even a reference to it in the trailer at all. It's just the name, which is not enough. I mean, the Tomorrowland we know because we grew up at Disneyland, but
it was hard sweeping the streets at night. You got to be clean up after you're done.
Gotta
people.
be so quick.
Yeah.
But that's Tomorrowland. I don't think means the same to people that didn't grow up an hour away from Disneyland. I think that Tomorrowland could be anything on that marquee. And it doesn't mean enough unless you tie it specifically to Disneyland, which the trailer doesn't do. The trailer is so vague and so incomprehensible that nobody's going to get it, and the kids aren't going to want to go see it because
they're confused too.
They're confused too, and it doesn't make them want to see it. Huh. It didn't make me want to see it.
Yeah, here's an interesting take on it that I hadn't thought about. Okay. So bottom line, will it be good? Maybe, but
maybe. I mean, it might be really good, but I couldn't tell by the trailer.
Okay. So will it be good? Will it make money?
No.
You think it's going to bomb? You think it's going to be that big summer bomb?
I think it's going to bomb hard.
Okay. I actually
I'll see it. I'm not going to say I'm not going to see it. I'll definitely see it because I'm interested.
I would say,
but
do you want to see it in the audience? Maybe. But apparently Lunchbox thinks you won't, or at least won't be interested, or be confused by it. I might go see it. Now I'm beginning to doubt myself here because I've gone from like I'll see it to like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think, and just even that little bit of like, I don't know. makes me say that you could be right, that this
Yeah.
could be that big disastrous bomb,
Yeah.
which would be surprising since it's the Memorial Day weekend, but
Yeah.
you never know.
Which is what's going to make it so surprising is that it was released the big Memorial Day weekend, and nobody's going to go see it.
Okay, you heard it here first. Lunchbox says that it's going to be a big bomb. It's on Memorial Day weekend, which should be a big boffo weekend for a CG-heavy family film, which should... I don't know if it's PG or PG-13, but it should have that good butter zone.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, I just don't see it happening.
Okay.
So,
What I don't
I guess our recording on the 23rd will have a major rewrite, if I was wrong.
Yeah, we'll see if the following... Yeah, we'll see how that goes. All right, moving to a horror movie called The Vatican Tapes. Okay, I'll let you start off on this one because I have some thoughts on this, and I'll let you start, though.
I just... another horror movie in the middle of summer? Whatever happened to releasing movies in October?
Really?
Horror movies, October. Seriously, people.
You know, Halloween falls in that same month.
What?
Yeah, I know. I just get this sense that people would really tie in a horror movie with a kind of holiday like Halloween. I think people should start moving those horror movies to that month.
That's a
10th
good idea.
10th month of the year. It happens every year. Okay?
Even though oct means 8?
Yes, I know. It's weird, huh?
Oh.
It's just... Okay, and it follows... Get this. It follows September. So it kind of sneaks in there between, like...
What sept means 7.
Yeah, I know. It's just... It's weird, right? You get where I'm coming... This might be...
I can't figure this out.
We might have just stumbled upon why Hollywood producers and filmmakers are making this really stupid mistake and releasing horror movies in the middle of summer when nobody wants to see a horror movie.
Right, they're mistaking 7 and 8. They're
Clear.
putting it in...
They're putting it in. They're putting in the 5th month, thinking it's the 6th, and so you all know 666 is the sign of the devil.
Yes.
Pentagrams. It's everywhere. Anyway, okay.
Dogs and cats
Living
together. Mass hysteria.
God. Okay. That said, it's a horror movie starring Olivia Taylor-Dudley as a young woman possessed by the devil. Go figure. Okay, and she's the only name I recognize from this, and it's because I recognize her because she's a part of an ensemble troupe called 5 Second Films from YouTube. And they're actually, this ensemble troupe is actually good friends with Patton Oswalt.
Oh.
He's starring in a movie they're making called Dude Bro Massacre Party 3, which actually looks hilarious. And how do I say it? She has good comedic timing. And these are like 5-second films, but she's good in these little film, like mini film things, but she's funny.
Yeah.
So I'm really sorry to see that this lady is having a big screen premiere in something that's not a comedy, but rather like another crummy horror film.
Another crummy, what is it, the shaky cam.
Another shaky cam. Looks like it has some effects to it. It's
Like you, I feel sad for one of the actors because the one that I recognized was Jaimin Hansu, who I think is actually a very good actor. Most people would recognize from Amistad, but has been in many other films since then. Very attractive man, who just I hate to see.
You hate to see
really
good actors in bad roles.
Especially in
Like
bad
Random
horror
Hearts.
movies.
But yeah,
Or bad horror movies.
bad horror
It's
movies.
just the worst.
It is.
Because bad horror movies are just like, it's low budget, and shaky cam added on top of it. Nah.
Here's the okay. It's another forgettable demon possession movie. And here's my thing: is if Hollywood wants to do this right sometime, they should try making demons appear in subtler ways. Because they did in the Bible. You could, I mean, if you actually read the Bible, they aren't doing over the top fire shows for the benefit of the Catholic Church. Okay, they aren't like twisting their bodies into pretzels to make people freaked out.
How's your faith these days, Father?
Yeah.
How's your faith these days?
Yeah, it's nothing that creepy. They're clawing, spitting, biting things that basically cause people to act like they have some violent form of Tourette's. Or if you really want to go bonsai with some big effects movie with demons and such, then do something on Revelations, not Left Behind with Nick Cage, and not some stupid movie with Seth Rogen. That might be interesting. That might be outside the box. But no, we're treated to the typical horror demon possession movie that we've
which we've seen a million times and it's
recycled
boring.
like I don't know how many times. It's boring.
I'm gonna say no, it's not gonna be any good. No, I don't want to see it. Yeah, it's probably gonna make some money because you got a little bit of counter programming going on.
Yeah.
It's people that
low
don't want
budget
to
horror,
see.
and it
It's
might
low
make a little
budget
bit of
horror.
money.
It's probably gonna do pretty decent. Actually, probably gonna make some money.
It might. You think it'll make its money back?
Oh, easy. Yeah,
I
I think even
it.
if it doesn't do that well, it's probably easy to make its money back. But I think it'll probably do pretty well. I think that probably, it's going to be below Pitch Perfect. Pitch Perfect is going to be awesome.
Okay, so here is, I sigh heavy. Okay. Coming out also on Memorial Day weekend is a movie that up until like, it's in the 2.5 minute trailer that I saw. 30 seconds in, I went from being totally jazzed to totally slump shoulder disappointed and good grief. It has Jude Law, Jason Statham. The movie's called Spy. It's a comedy action movie. And at first I thought I was getting an action comedy with Jude Law and Jason Statham, so at least this isn't nearly as bad as Ring of Fire, which sold itself as something else.
Yeah.
I thought, hey, great, this is brilliant, this is awesome. And then there she is, popping up on screen like Marlon Wayans himself, is Melissa McCarthy, who's already been in I don't know how many films now, but too many, doing the same stupid, awful, unfunny routine of I'm a big fat woman who acts like a gangly teenager, unable to control her own body, and just it wasn't funny the first time. I like pratfall kind of comedy from the Three Stooges. I think beyond that, you have to sell it hard to me. You know, like you're already engaging in a hard sell with me. But if you want to see a whole fat woman doing comedy funny, watch old episodes of Drew Carey. I don't remember the lady's name, but the lady who rips off of him in the Drew Carey show.
Mimi, what's her name?
No, yeah, her real name, not Mimi. I kept on thinking of her as Mimi, but she was hilarious.
She was.
And I still remember to this day one of my favorite lines in the show is like he's looking for a new job, and like an employer calls up the office, and she's Drew Carey got out of prison. And it just like it was awful, but it was hilarious, and she sold it in a really funny way.
She was very funny, yes.
But if you want to see like an overweight woman doing comedy, then go watch her, because I don't get the appeal of Melissa McCarthy. I really don't, and maybe I'm just the wrong person for this entirely. But I feel like there's got to be some truly talented comedians, I should say, like the Olivia Taylor-Dudley who I mentioned, that's starring that awful Vatican Tapes movie. Like, I feel like I'd like to see her in something funny because she has good comedy timing. Yeah. And I don't know, I'm over putting Melissa McCarthy or any kind of trope like the big fat person tripping over themselves and isn't this hilarious, they're robbing a hamburger store.
Right, and yes, I didn't want to see Tammy either because Tammy was basically, it looked like just Melissa McCarthy falling down. And, you know, like we mentioned earlier, the fat person falling down thing is apparently a thing now that you work into shows. And yes, Melissa McCarthy does her fair share of that. But she's actually also a really funny comedian. I think that she actually is a funny person. And you put her into this awkward situation. It's like Miss Congeniality. You know, like even, you know, you have person, you know, fish out of water kind of situation. And I think that she has the timing. I think that she can be funny. And I think that actually, and partly because you have Jude Law, Jason Statham, and that's being her straight man, essentially.
But how much are they going to be in it? Because it's sold like they're in it. But I get that leery kind of funny feeling that they're not really in it.
They're just kind of showing up for cameos in the
that
trailer.
They're more cameos.
They're trailer cameos.
Not that they're playing straight, because straight man to her, whatever. Because if you look at the trailer... If you look at the trailer more closely, she is walking along in several scenes with this tall, gangly woman, and I don't know who she is, but it seems like that's her straight person to play off of.
Well, as long as she has a straight man, I think that she will do perfectly well with it. I think it'll be very funny. I thought The Heat was very funny. I mean, Sandra Bullock played a great straight man for her antics, and and she's basically the curly to Sandra Bullock's Mo. Like it's kind of like you need a straight man, you need a comedy guy, and she's the comedy guy. She does the pratfalls. She does the, oh, I'm so lost here. I have no idea what's going on. But it's funny and people enjoy it, and I think it'll do pretty well on that basis.
For my own self, I think it looks utterly idiotic. I wish this kind of movie would stop getting made because it's, how do I say it? I feel like it's taking comedy in a bad direction where you're expecting little and by golly are they delivering. And I keep on hearing and seeing people like Melissa McCarthy, they end up, how do I say it? They're co-cast with other people. And I personally don't think that they have the charisma or charm that the Melissa McCarthy, needed. And they have to have other people there to kind of bring it up so you'll see it. No,
I think that you're totally misunderstanding the way that the comedy works. I think that Gracie Allen isn't funny unless George Burns is there.
Gracie Allen isn't funny unless George Burns is there. That's a given.
Right, but George isn't funny on his own.
George is...
certainly
George Burns is hilarious on his own.
George can do his own comedy, but that particular shtick, the George Burns Gracie Allen show, her character isn't funny without George Burns, and George Burns just sitting there by himself saying, hey, this goofy thing happened over here, wouldn't be funny. He's the straight man. He just sits there and goes, what's going on? You need the straight man. You need the funny guy. That's kind of the way it's been since Laurel and Hardy.
I get
you
that,
need a straight man and a funny man, and the funny man is Melissa McCarthy, and then you just got to put her next to the right straight man.
That's not a woman, that's a man, baby.
That's a man. But if you have Jason Statham as the straight man, or if you have whoever you put in there as the straight man, if they can play straight and keep it straight and totally straight the whole time, then it ends up being funnier what they're doing. It makes the humor. And I think it works.
Okay, so let's break it down. Funny. Will it be good? I say no.
I think it'll probably be okay. I don't think it'll be hilarious, but I think it'll be okay. I don't think it'll be as good as The Heat, but I think it'll be okay.
Will it make money?
Yeah.
You think so? It's really
definitely make money. I mean, it's not going to be like top of the pops, but I think it'll do okay.
I just see this as a bomb. I see this as like one of those things of like I may disagree vehemently on Melissa McCartney's meteoric rise to stardom, but I have the feeling that we're going to see a lot of reviews come out that will say waste of talent, waste of actors. I get that vibe. So do you want to see it? My recommendation is no, but
well,
what does Lunchbox say?
Well, I want to see it because I think it'll be kind of funny. I don't expect super hilarity, but I think it'll be kind of funny.
Not going to do the hard sell.
Yeah. I think it'll be kind of funny, and I think it'll be enjoyable. I think that people will like it. So I think that if you like that sort of thing, yeah. So I think it'll do okay.
Okay.
That's it's one of the ones that I am a little more non-committal on because I'm a little worried that it will be one of those that people will go, yeah, no, on just because we've seen a lot of the other Melissa McCarthy stuff and some of the stuff hasn't really hit. Although I think you've got enough star power in there that it might. In the trailer,
that's the thing.
The trailer has the star power, and I think that might draw enough people in that they'll go, "Hey, these people are in it too."
Don't waste your money, folks.
So, man, we'll see.
That wraps up the Memorial Day weekend, and for my money, what I think is going to take it, based on what you said, and partially my own starting to have misgivings about Tomorrowland, I'm actually going to say that Mad Max Fury Road takes its second big week.
Yep. I'm gonna go with that too. I think Mad Max Fury Road and then Spy comes in second.
Really? I was gonna give you the benefit of the doubt and say that the what was it? I'm blanking.
Pitch Perfect.
Pitch Perfect took second again, but
Yeah, I think Pitch Perfect will drop off a bit. I think probably stay in the top 5. But Pitch Perfect will drop off a bit. But I think Spy will take second.
Okay. And Tomorrowland, do you think it'll stay even in the top 5 or no?
I think probably 3 or 4.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, if it's lucky.
Okay. Well, we're gonna move along to May 29th.
Actually, I think Age of Ultron will probably hit 3. So
You think Age of Ultron will still stay in the top 5?
Age of Ultron's still coming strong.
Okay. Gonna wrap up the month then with May 29th. And we've got a couple of movies here that are definitely counter-programmed to one another. San Andreas, starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, right?
The Rock.
The Rock. I'm just gonna stick with The Rock. Starring The Rock. Starring The Rock as some rescue worker, and Paul Giamatti as the overly concerned scientist who tells everybody they're doomed. It's got a cast of other actors who I don't even know who they are. It doesn't matter. They're disaster movie fodder. And it actually doesn't look too bad, and I think it's been a while, not a long while, but it's been a few years since we've had a big effects disaster film.
Yeah.
And I think it's about time. The timing's good for a new one. You know?
Yeah. Well, I think that the problem is that it's San Andreas.
Really?
But
Paul Giamatti looks great as the overly concerned scientist who tells everybody they're doomed.
He does, and I love Paul Giamatti. It's always great in everything that I've seen. He was great in Uncle Vanya, but it's from Cold Souls anyway. But the problem is that the only reason that the flyover country is gonna watch San Andreas is for Schadenfreude. They would enjoy watching California sink into the sea.
Oh, who wouldn't enjoy it?
It's Schadenfreude. And they just, let's destroy California. Let's drop them into the ocean.
No, don't sell like the middle America just wanting to see California burn.
Well, yes, that's the only reason they might want to. It's not affecting me. It's just California gets destroyed. So, hey, I'm sort of fine with that. I get my beachfront property in Arizona. Woohoo! No, it's too localized for one.
But it shows in the trailer that like this ripple effect goes throughout the country.
Well, they're gonna feel it through the country, but they're not gonna get destroyed like California is.
I think it's gonna be a worldwide disaster.
It's too localized. Well, from the trailer, and it's named San Andreas, which, pretty much only people in California are gonna care about. And disaster movies, nobody cares anymore.
You think disaster movies are spent?
We watched Day After Tomorrow, and we were like, we're done.
Didn't 2012 do pretty well? That was a disaster movie.
No,
it didn't.
No,
I have to look up the numbers.
It did okay.
It did okay. It didn't go.
Not the huge numbers they were expecting. It did okay.
So you're feeling like I don't know. I feel like there's been enough.
And it's too localized. I mean, 2012 even was the whole planet. Well, you have to involve the whole planet is being destroyed.
Is that you have
no, we're going to break off California. It's going to fall into the ocean. Fine, whatever.
And I think that I would disagree that it actually takes a smart tactic to scale it down. And I cannot remember the way it was put or who said it, but I remember this quote from a director of sorts who'd said that once you get to go far gone on these kind of movies, it becomes that you have to put the entire world in peril, or else nobody cares.
Right.
And I'm thinking that the fact that they're trying to make it localized will actually really help it, because when disaster movies started coming around again, I'll put the volcano movie and Pikes Peak, or whatever it was, not Pikes Peak, Dante's Peak. Came out, they were localized disaster films. It's only in this section of LA or California.
And nobody cared.
They did okay. Dante's Peak bombed.
Well, Volcano did too.
No, it did well.
Did okay?
Volcano did well.
Even with all the ash?
Even
that ashy ending?
The Ash.
I got ashy elbows. That ending,
the,
really?
Even with the Ash ending, it was Dante's Peak that didn't do as well, even though it had a much more. As I've heard it said that Volcano was the stupid action movie version, and Dante's Peak was the little bit more realistic, scientific version. And,
except for the dog jumping.
Except for the dog living and the grandma dies. Yeah. It was the stupidest. Anyway, without digressing too much.
The dog always has to live.
Because the dog always has to live. At least in the 90s and early 2000s, the dog always lived for whatever stupid reason.
Except for, what was it, Lost World? Where
it was Lost World where the dog got eaten. That was a change.
I was so happy. But not that, I love the dogs, but in movies, come on.
It gets stupid when you see them. Yeah. Okay, so San Andreas is obviously going to have a scene where the dog lives. But that aside, I think it does well. I think it does really well, and my thought on it is that will it be good? It's going to be stupid, okay? Let's get that out of the way. It's got The Rock as a headliner. And not that I have any problems with you, Mr. The Rock. Love your stuff. I think that it's going to be a big, dumb disaster film, which they can be fun. And
yeah, I think it'll probably be, in the disaster movie genre, probably, somewhere between Armageddon and Dante's Peak. I mean, it'll be all right.
Will it make money?
No.
Really? I'd say this is one of... I don't see this as, huge, but maybe I see it as possibly 5th place in the top 5.
Yeah, I mean, I certainly...
Do you think it'll break?
They're expecting it to be gigantic. And unless they really do a huge push and just flood the airwaves with all of the advertising from between now and then, nobody's going to see it. And by the second day, it's going to die.
I would have said the second weekend at least.
I just don't see it even carrying through the weekend. I think people are just going to go, yeah, Rock, disaster, whatever. Yeah, and I love The Rock. Huge fan. I don't care what your name is. Nobody cares what your name is. It's funny. And he's always great. And actually a much better actor than he gets credit for.
Yeah.
But I think that it's just... No. Sorry.
Okay.
I just don't see it.
You don't think it makes the money? I think you want to see
the money.
I think that you'd want to go see, if you're of the persuasion who enjoys disaster movies, then you probably, I would say you would want to go see it. And if Lunchbox here is right, you're going to want to go see it that first weekend because
you need to see it.
You want to see it on the biggest screen possible.
You want to see it on the big screen possible, and you want to see it as loud as possible. So tell the ticket taker turn it up.
Yeah.
Because you want to see it very loud.
Our past theater experience here helps well because if Lunchbox is right, then they're going to have it in a big house, biggest house as possible on the first weekend. And if it does show that kind of drop, then you're going to see them swapping out houses and they're going to shove it into a smaller screen. Not that it's not still a huge screen, much bigger than whatever you can get at home. Mm-hmm. And not that it won't have that awesome surround sound. But if you really go...
It just won't be the same.
It won't be the same. So if you want to see a disaster film on the big screen, go see it the opening weekend. Because after that, it's...
After that, it's dead. And even if you're right, and people do decide to go see San Andreas, the opening weekend, which I think that name is going to kill them too, because I don't think enough people know San Andreas. There you go. What is it? Is it a movie about monks? I
actually thought it might pull in the people who play Grand Theft Auto.
It's a Grand Theft Auto movie. Yeah, see, and then they're gonna walk in and they'll be disappointed and they'll walk out.
Yeah.
See, it's just on so many levels, it's just not gonna work.
Okay. Well, moving on to the other movie that's coming out that day is Aloha, starring Bradley Cooper as the lead male, Rachel McAdams and Emma Stone as the love interests, which confused the situation, and Alec Baldwin as a screaming weirdo, i.e. himself. And Bill Murray as Obi-Wan Kenobi. It's written and directed by Cameron Crowe, so it looks kind of pleasant overall. Mm-hmm. And this is one I'm guessing is the moderate success / sleeper hit of the summer.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go with you on that. I love Cameron Crowe, ever since Jerry Maguire. Love his stuff. Almost Famous. Didn't see the Orlando Bloom one, but I've loved his movies and he's got a nice storytelling style. and really enjoyable stuff. I like Cameron Crowe, and Bradley Cooper, of course, who's a very good-looking guy, and Emma Stone, very funny. I think, yeah.
I wouldn't mind seeing her in a comedy. Why do we have to have another stupid Melissa? Anyway.
Yeah, did you see Easy A? How'd you feel about that one?
No, I didn't see it, but I know that she has the timing. See, but I didn't want to see it because it was a direct Christian bashing film from the stuff I've seen. Okay, let's not go off on that. Okay, let's just say I know that Emma Stone has comedic timing.
Yes.
Let's just say I know both her and Rachel McAdams has it. So
yeah,
I feel
Rachel
like Melissa McCarthy is one of these people that slips under the crack, and you're sort of like, why does this woman have movies?
Yeah,
anyway, I'm
very
sorry.
Funny.
Okay, so yeah, this is the sleeper hit of the summer, right here.
Yeah, I think Aloha sleeper hit.
I like semi-jokingly say lead male, and these are the love interests because overall it just has a kind of vanilla feel. But in a movie, in summertime, you typically have those big budget blockbuster film action whatever explosions, yay.
Yeah.
And you don't always want to go with these stupid romantic comedies that people lie to each other and if only people talk to each other. What you want to do is aim for that nice...
It's what Ebert used to call the idiot plot.
The idiot plots. You don't want idiot plots. You want the vanilla butter zone. And this looks like it is going to hit the
and it
vanilla
really
butter
does.
zone.
And I think that's one of the things that Cameron Crowe really has nailed in the couple of Cameron Crowe films that I've seen. I really enjoyed. And so, yeah, Elizabethtown, that's the Orlando Bloom one that I haven't seen, but Cameron Crowe did. I haven't watched that one. But Almost Famous, great movie. Jerry Maguire, great movie.
Yeah.
I mean, Cameron Crowe really kind of has that idea of how to do a romantic story without making it too sappy, but enough of that little, goofiness to it that you go along with it, you know? And I think probably that this has the potential to be that little sleeper hit. And especially because you got Bradley Cooper in there. I mean, Bradley Cooper, big enough star that he might be able to carry and get enough of an audience that people would see it. Yeah, I can see it.
Okay. I might disagree with you on the male ability to carry a movie, but just I would say the overall feel of the movie. So will it be good? Yeah.
Yeah.
Will it make money? Yes.
Yeah.
This is that, again, this is one of my top 5, maybe top 10 to stretch it a little bit because there's a lot of big action movies coming out. But it's definitely up there. It's going to be one that people keep on going to see when they just need something pleasant to see. Like, let's go see Aloha. So I see this having legs. And do you want to see it? Probably.
Yeah,
I don't know if you want to see it in the theater.
I want to see it.
But it looks...
Well, personally, I want to see it. And, I think that our viewers will probably want to see it.
Yeah, it looks pleasant enough. So, and I guess that pretty much wraps up May. And it's a packed summer. It's a packed May. And that's the kind of way I like to see it.